What's going on, people? I just finished the RE2 remake stream for today. I know I went over my time, or I possibly didn't. I don't know what YouTube says yet. I didn't keep up with the time, but I usually play like an hour. It felt like I played way longer than that. Um, and the more you guys like up those videos, the more I am more willing to play that game for a longer time. It creeps me out because I have headphones on when I play it, and I'm hearing a whole hell of a lot more than just my TV if it was playing through it. So that game creeps me out just a little bit. Um, Make sure you like up all those videos. You know, that lets me know that you guys not only want to see more gaming from me, but it also lets me know that you enjoy me playing on that PS4, because it's honestly, it's only got, this is the most attention the PS4 has gotten out of me since it came back home with me from when my ex-girlfriend and then went to Japan. So it's really gotten no attention since the Switch came out, and since I've started mainly focusing on digital downloads and the Xbox having 4 terabytes of memory, 2 internal, 2 external, and my PS1 being limited by only 1. So it hasn't got a whole lot of love, but like up the videos, that lets me know, hey, you should be buying more content to play on the PS4. We do like these streams and stuff like that. That's what that lets me know. You dig what I'm saying? There was one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is, and this is real quick, it's not going to be something, I'm not going to draw it out, but I find it so funny how now it's a problem that Sony and Xbox are carbon copies of each other. You want so much division between these two, yet these two could care less about that division. Okay? Everyone's like, oh, Project Scarlett sounds a lot like the PS5. Well, I think generations, the gap between the power of each one of them has been closing steadily. And in all honesty, I think that we're going to see less and less of a gap between them, because third-party developers are going to put their game on it, whether they, whether it be the Xbox or the PS4. Where it really comes down to, and this is what Uncle Phil, you don't understand, is reason to buy a console. We honestly don't have a reason to buy Scarlett. Nobody does. Because what's the incentive here? What am I buying it for? What is the must-have not PS5, but the must-have Xbox Scarlett game? Like, what is Halo? It looks like it's gonna be the Breath of the Wild of Xbox One and Scarlett. Basically, it's gonna be on the Xbox One and it's gonna be on the Scarlett. That way, everybody gets to play it. No one gets left out, because Xbox, the one thing you do understand is that Halo is what made you your money when it comes to the brand. But in all honesty, there's not going to be that much difference when it comes to power. It's going to be all about the games and the reason to buy the machine. Sony, luckily going into PS5, you have a little bit more reason to buy the PS5 over the Xbox Scarlett, because we know you're going to have games. We know you're going to have exclusives. I just really hope we get the Order of 1887 game, because that'd be the sequel to 1886. Hope we get a game like that on PS5 that's more in depth and lets us know that, hey, this PS4 game that everybody hated, which story-driven game, was great, but I get why people didn't like it. Hopefully they can make a sequel, because there's supposed to be one in the works, and it'll come out on PS5 establishing a franchise. Hopefully Horizon Zero Dawn gets another game establishing a franchise. I think Sony, looking into the foreseeable future, I think you see it as well. You might have the best machine on the market, but you don't have a legacy franchise under your belt outside of God of War. You have done nothing with Gran Turismo this generation other than like maybe one VR game, I think. I don't know if it's a VR game or not, but it was never a heavy hitter. It was like talked about for a little bit. Tomb Raider made it big on the PS1 and now is big on Xbox and PS4, so it's not exclusive. You lost exclusive rights to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII is coming exclusively to the PS4, the remake, but as far as Final Fantasy VII in of itself, yeah, that's on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch. You only have Kratos. You killed off the Uncharted series, and Little Big Planet is okay, but it's not really something that people can really go out and be like, oh yeah, PlayStation and Little Big Planet. It's not like when it was PS1 and Crash Bandicoot. It's not at all. You need a platformer, you need a racer. I don't know why you don't go and option Sonic Team Racing to be your Mario Kart, because in my opinion here, if you've ever played, let me see if I can find it. I have it on the 3DS. It is right here, okay? If you own this game, you don't have to own this particular version of this game, meaning you don't have to have the 3DS one like I do. Honestly, I have it on the Xbox One as well because the 360 gave it away for a month, and I love this game. But honestly, one of y'all need to option this, meaning buy it exclusively, and turn this into y'all's Mario Kart, because this game is on par with it. Me and one of my friends up at GameStop, the last time I went, we were talking about that Sonic, Sonic Team Racing. I was like, I don't know why they didn't port this. This is a better game. This is more superior. And it really seems like this is where Mario Kart could go if they wanted. I know it's a car, not a cart, but still, this game is so good. I feel like it's underappreciated. And I feel like if PlayStation, if you option this game for exclusive, and you went to Sega and been like, please just give us this particular Sonic game as an exclusive, and just put it on the PlayStation, I feel like you would have something to work with, because Sonic is a name. Like, if you went to Sega and said, bring Sonic to us, give us Sonic, let us have Sonic, make Sonic for us, I feel like you would be in a safer bet, because everybody knows Sonic. But you can't pay that price. You don't have the money for it, I know. But PlayStation, your exclusives are cool. They're not bad. They all are probably the best games on the PS4, if I'm being honest. The problem is, they're all games on the PS4. You have no legacy, aside from Kratos and Gran Turismo. But what have you done with those besides release Gran Turismo and one fucking title this entire generation, and God of War got a reboot and a re-release? What have you done with those franchises? Not a whole hell of a lot. And I know you don't have to do a hell of a lot, especially with God of War, because I bought the limited edition one with the big ass statue in it, and I don't even like Kratos like that. I really don't even think God of War is that good of a game. It was just on sale. And I'm not talking about God of War, the one we got this generation. I'm talking about God of War in general. I just don't really care for it. It's not because it's too hard. It's not because it's a companion game now. No, I've never liked God of War. I always thought it was way too easy when it was just square, square, triangle, and you can basically walk through the game. I'm like, man, fuck this. But if I'm keeping it 100 with you, honestly, Nintendo is a safer bet when it comes down to the digital and the reason to buy, just off the simple fact they have legacies. They have franchises. They have faces. PlayStation, you can have every game in the world be exclusive to you. But if you're having to reinvent the wheel every generation, and you don't build a legacy and a continuation of said franchises, then you're just the place to go to play games that have a certain theme to them. We need to know more about Knack. Are you coming out with a Knack 3? Are you is it going to be continued? Knack, I thought, was a really good franchise. I thought, wow, they got a really solid platformer here. This is interesting. You saw me play through the Knack video game. I didn't get to play through the second one. I got rid of it before I even played it. Just because I got rid of all my physical games on the PS4 except for the Batman Arkham, because it came with it. I need to look and see if Knack is on sale, because if it is, I'll buy Knack. I'm about to buy Detroit Become Human some point before the end of the week. But that's just me being honest with you guys. PlayStation going into PS5, yes, you can have all the exclusives in the world, but what makes exclusives really fun, and the reason people buy up Nintendos, is because they grew up with these games. They are attached to these games. You know what I'm saying? You see me Nintendo 64 t-shirt. I have a Zelda hat on consistently. I have Nintendo or Zelda on my person at all time in some fashion, way, or sense. Okay? The reason we keep buying Nintendo, my age keeps buying Nintendo, is because we grew up with We grew up with Smash Bros. We grew up with Mario. We grew up with Zelda. We grew up with Metroid. We grew up with Pokemon. We grew up with that stuff. And it didn't go away and then come back. No, these continued. Metroid, on the other hand, is every 2 generations skip the third, 2 generations skip the third. So that game did skip a generation here and there. But it's on everything. There's one for Game Boy. There's one for, I think there's like 2 for the Advance. There's one on the 3DS. I think there's one on the DS, but I didn't really check into it. My point is this. PlayStation, get you some legacy games. Buy back. Go out and spend the most money you can on these titles. Get them exclusive to you. Build the legacy. Keep Knack going. Keep the Order of 1886 going. Keep Horizon going. I'm not saying that game's bad, but when you try to put it up against Zelda and it's a brand new IP, it can't win. I keep bringing that up because that's true. I'm not making that up. I'm not saying it just to say it. I'm sorry, no matter how good Horizon is, Breath of the Wild is better, not because it's Breath of the Wild, but it's because it's Zelda, and Zelda's been around since the fucking 80s. And while Horizon has graphics on lock, it don't really matter when you're talking about the game in of itself. Horizon, that's one title. Just because that one title may be better than one of the games from a franchise like Zelda doesn't mean it's better than Zelda in general. You see what I'm saying? PlayStation, bring yourself into the conversation. Bring yourself into the conversation in such a way that it makes everybody talk about you. The only reason I've been talking about you so much, because, bitch, you lost Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and I'm talking the 4 Crash Bandicoot games that made your entire existence relevant, the 3 Spyros that made your entire existence relevant, and all the Final Fantasy games that made you to today. Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, 12. If they announce Final Fantasy 14 for the Switch, fuck it, it's over. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't see why they don't try to get a panic button to port over the 15. I'm starting to believe that game isn't going to be that hard, considering The Witcher 3 is coming. I'm just saying. Don't be like, oh no, there's no. No. You get 4K automatic on the Xbox One S with Final Fantasy 15. So I'm starting to believe, hey, if The Witcher 3 comes out and it plays decent, it runs good, and everything's, I get it's going to be a lot lower resolution, but if it's playable, Square, we're going to need to talk about this Final Fantasy 14 and 15. And we're going to talk about the fact you put the Pocket Edition on there. Excuse me, I just want to point that out. I know there's going to be people, oh, boo, because you don't believe it. Da, 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 da. I have no reason to, and neither do you. PlayStation has legitimately shown this generation they give zero fucks about you, about their history, about the games that made them, the franchises that helped build and make PlayStation a household name this generation. They should be having to earn back everybody's respect who loves PlayStation 1, 2. I'm going to go as far as to even say 3, because I love Uncharted. Uncharted is one of my favorite franchises, and there's only been 4. And then the 5th one, which is The Lost Legacy, had nothing to do with Nathan Drake. And I don't see them coming out with another one, because The Lost Legacy is a companion game, and they weren't able to get the hype up for that game as much as they were for the one with Nathan Drake. Kind of hard to do when your lead character is a female and we have Tomb Raider. I don't know, Naughty Dog. You could have done something to help build the hype around that game. You could have done something. You could have made it a non-companion game and split it up like a Resident Evil and showed half of the game played as one and half of the game played as the other, and it probably would have got better, well reception done. Like I don't even know how I would have said that. I know I said it fucked up. Anyway, I just want to point that out, man. I'm not saying the games are bad. I'm never gonna say that. I'm stating the facts. Horizon is a brand new IP. If we get to PS7, 8, 9, and Horizon is not on those, guess what? Horizon's not part of the conversation. PlayStation, in order for you to stay relevant, because Xbox is obviously bowing out, you need legacies. Because no matter how powerful you make a system, Nintendo is going to beat your ass because they have legacies. And it doesn't mean, oh, well, people are only buying them to play those games. No. It means they're going to be able to be the more popular system because, as you can tell now, we're in the Switch, they're not only having their bomb-ass first-party games that everyone loves, they're getting third-party games that people fucking lose their shit for. Doom, 2016, Skyrim, Witcher 3, Bayonetta 3, which is, I know, an exclusive, but remember that shit started on the PS3 and the 360. We couldn't even get it on the fucking Wii U until they bought and made the second one, so remember that. Sony, you didn't option to buy Bayonetta. Neither did Xbox. Y'all let that shit go, and look at how popular it is now. You didn't option Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Why one of y'all doesn't option The Force Unleashed 3 before Nintendo buys it is beyond me. Nintendo is securing their future here, and not only their first-party titles, but third-party titles as well. And they're becoming a threat because the more and more accepted and the more games that come out, especially third-party games that come out for the Switch that run really well, there are a few that don't run worth the fuck. WWE 2K, I'm looking at you. I don't know what year. I know, okay, 17, I think. I think it's 17. 2017, you ain't shit. And I don't fuck with 2K because of it, so fuck them. But there are a few games that don't run that well, but majority of them run perfectly fine. And that is a problem, PlayStation. That needs to be addressed. You need to go out there and be like, yo, we need to buy up anything we can get our hands on. There's plenty of titles that's been forgotten about. PlayStation's been optioning not PlayStation, but Nintendo's been optioning a lot of games that people have been yammering for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. And people are like, thank you, because it's going to, and the first game they release of it is got to be good because it either means they spent and invested well, or they spent and it wasn't worth shit. And you want to make sure it went well. So with that being said, guys, like the videos up, man. Let me know by liking them. Drop a comment down below, and just tell me what you guys think on anything, whether it be on my streaming videos, whether it be on my other video. It don't matter, man. We can have a conversation about whatever, whenever, you know what I'm saying. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, man. I'm really trying to get that Twitter number up because I'm active over there. You dig what I'm saying? I'm active then a little bit over there on my Twitter. So, I mean, definitely go follow me on the Twitters. I'm not as active on the Snap no more. And I'm trying to get into Instagram. I haven't really. But all the links to them shits will be down below. Make sure you go like, follow, subscribe to any of that shit. And I guess I'm going to play some Spider-Man tomorrow because my fucking controller died. Sony. One last thing before I go. Sony. Get rid of that shit. This fucking light bar. If you can name 5 games without looking them up that shit was useful for, feel free to let me know, because I only know of Infamous Second Son when you shake up a can of spray paint. I don't know any other fucking games. This controller would be the fucking best controller on the market if it had a better battery life with no light bar. I mean, if you really needed a light bar, could you not have just put one like super tiny using very dim, like not even dim, but like, those little lights that flash every so often, like on the Nintendo Switch. You know how the power button's on the Nintendo Switch dock and it's a little green light? You could have put something that small on this bitch and it wouldn't have hurt nothing. I wouldn't complain about it at all, especially if it didn't even use 2% of the damn battery life. But that light, this is so inconvenient. It kills the battery so quick. So if I don't charge the fucking controller when I play a game, after I get done playing it, this bitch could still be dead. Even if the battery was at 50%, this bitch could still die. This bitch could still die if I just leave it on the bed and go out for like 3-4 hours. Come home, turn the PlayStation back on. Hey, you have 1 bar of health that is already in the red. It's saying plug it in. Take out that fucking light bar. It is of no use to nobody. There's not one person out there who is a PS4 owner who goes, one of the features I just love is this light bar and how I only get 4 to 5 hours of battery life because of it. Not one person's happy with that. Sony, Xbox, Nintendo done showed y'all you can make a decent controller with a hell of a battery life and people will buy it. Xbox, your controller, your $180 controller, all I'm going to say is if Xbox Scarlett controller comes out and it still has double A's, I'm not going to buy it. I'll skip it completely. Fuck out of here. If it has double A's in that bitch, nobody buy the Xbox Scarlett because Xbox, you need to go on and learn something. The Pro controller for the Switch doesn't even have a battery pack. It's already in there. There's nowhere to put batteries in that bitch. In fact, majority of Pro controllers nowadays from Nintendo, and if you get, I guess there's one for this, Nintendo and PlayStation have gotten out of the whole get AA batteries thing after the fucking Wii generation, because you had to buy batteries for the Wii modes, but they got out of that after that generation. Could you imagine having to buy batteries for the gamepad? Oh my god. And that's basically what we Xbox fans have had to been dealing with since the 360. It's like, if you're an Xbox fan, I hope you got stock in Duracell because you spent way more money on fucking batteries for a controller than you ought to.